What is up, guys? Smithy back for another video. Today we are going to be playing Pioneer, the new format. It is absolutely sweet. The new format has just come out, so I just want to play a bunch of degenerate decks that do stupid things. I'm not too fussed about finding the best deck in the format or whatever the case may be, mainly because I feel like other people are going to do that for me. I'm going to wait till the dust settles and go from there. But for now, I just want to play stupid decks. So today we're going to be playing a deck entirely featured around Ensoul Artifact. The deck was in Standard, now it's in Pioneer. It's got a couple of upgrades. So you got your Standard Ornithopters, Bomat Couriers, and Gingerbrutes. These are the creatures that you are probably most of the time going to stick Ensoul Artifact on. So Ornithopter, you can just attack on turn 2 with a flying 5/5. Gingerbrute and Bomat are just 1-drops with haste. The Gingerbrute can make itself virtually unblockable, which is really good as well. The Bomat Courier is just good for drawing extra cards, and it has haste, and it's an artifact. So we are also playing Smuggler's Copter. I've seen a lot of lists run 3, but I've played the deck a couple of times. My LGS had like a Pioneer event, and I just found that I just wanted to draw more Smuggler's Copters. And if you draw the second one, you can always just bin it with the Smuggler's Copter anyway. And we're also playing 2 Scrapheap Scrounger. I think when I first started off, the deck had 3 or 4. I've just found that it tended to be one of the weaker cards in the deck, so I've decided to just go down to 2. I know that the recursion is really effective, but it is not as easy to activate as it looks. So you've got the 4 Spire of Industry, assuming you have an artifact in play, and you also have some Springleaf Drums. But a lot of the time I have had it where it's in the graveyard, and I wasn't able to get it back. I was even considering maybe adding some Mana Confluence to the deck, just so I could play it more consistently. We're playing 2 Skilled Animator as well. Animator is just another copy of Ensoul Artifact. The main downside with this is it's really easy to kill. With Ensoul, you stick that on something like a Darksteel Citadel, kill spells aren't going to do a lot. Whereas if you use Animator on, say, an Ornithopter or even a Darksteel Citadel, all they've got to do is Lightning Strike it and it's dead. So they don't kill the creature that you've made into the 5/5, they just kill the Animator. We're also playing 1 Hazoret. So in my original list, I didn't actually have Hazoret in. I was scouring pretty much any deck list I could find for Pioneer with Ensoul Artifact, and I came across one with a Hazoret, and it does make sense, to be fair. The deck does just spew its entire hand out very quickly, and a big creature like Hazoret to close the games out is actually really handy. So it's been really good. We're running 3 Stubborn now. With the amount of 5 power creatures we get in play, that is often just a 1-mana counterspell. We're playing 4 Ghostfire Blade. Great card just to stick on your Ornithopters and stuff like that. And against decks of lots of creature removal, Ensouling Artifacts, which are not creatures to begin with, is really good. So say you've got like a Gingerbrute in play and you want to stick an Ensoul Artifact on it. If your opponent's got a couple of red mana up, you know that they could have a number of different removal spells. Whereas if you stick it on a Ghostfire Blade, they can't just shock it in response. So whilst it is good at sticking on your creatures, it's also just a good Ensoul Artifact target. We're playing 2 Springleaf Drums. I originally was playing 1, but I just found that the deck is a lot more mana intensive than it looks, between trying to make your Gingerbrutes unblockable and various other things. So I just wanted to add an extra Springleaf. And we're also playing 4 Shrapnel Blast. I don't know if 3 or 4 is the correct amount, but we're going to play 4, just because the deck basically just does damage in chunks of 5. Land base, we're running 22 lands. Could be too many. I am playing the full 4 Mutavault. They're really good with Smuggler's Copters, and just having a creature that you can actually get in with is really good, because the deck is incredibly fragile if your opponent has the right disruption. Speaking of disruption, in our sideboard we are running 4 Leyline of the Void for any graveyard shenanigans. The deck's pretty linear. You can play Tormod's Crypt or something like that, like the 0-mana artifact that exiles a graveyard, but I want to be ensouling my artifacts, and I don't want them to tap to sacrifice to exile their graveyard. So Leyline of the Void is kind of just like stick it down in our opening hand and get on with what we were doing, and you can hardcast it. I played a league yesterday and I did hardcast the Leyline of the Void between Spire of Industries and Springleaf Drums. We're playing the 4 Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle is really good against Planeswalkers, and again it's another artifact that you can Ensoul, which is not going to get shocked in response. 4 Rending Volley, just for any pesky blue or white creatures, mainly Thing in the Ice. The blue-red Phoenix deck, between Leyline of the Void and Rending Volley, you kind of have an answer to most of the ways they can win. So I like having those. 1 extra stubborn denial just in case we need it, and 2 Antiquities of War. Sorry, the Antiquities War, that's the one. I did see a list online playing 4. I apologise that I haven't got anyone's usernames or anything like that. I've scoured so many lists, it's kind of hard to keep track. So it's just a 4 mana saga, and then the first and second time it triggers, you look at the top 5 cards, you reveal an artifact to put into your hand, and on the third one it turns all of your artifacts into 5/5s. So I assume this is for any sort of grindy matchup. I haven't used it yet, but judging that people have been using it, I'll give it a try. Fuck it, why not? Other than that, I don't think there's anything too crazy about the deck in comparison to all the other Ensoul Artifact decks. I have cut down on 1 Animator, just because I find if you draw 1 too many of these, the hand just tends to be so slow that you tend to lose. And I think that's about it. Sweet, so let's get into some games. So game 1, this hand looks fine, we'll keep this. No Ensoul Artifact, but we've got a 1-drop into Smuggler's Copter, and we have got the Hazoret if we can draw a 3rd land. Our opponent is on red-black. So I think the best place to start off is probably the Spirebluff Canal. Stick a Gingerbrute in and get in for 1. We have already got our 4th land for the Hazoret. By the look of it, we should be able to just easily get Hazoret on turn 4 with no cards in hand. This is definitely one of the slower sides of the deck, but it looks reasonable. Okay, so our opponent's got Heart of Kiran. If they start playing Planeswalkers, that is really going to get in the way of our Smuggler's Copter. Ooh, so we've drawn the Ensoul Artifact. I think what we want to do is, I think we want to Ensoul Artifact on the Darksteel Citadel. The reason I think we want to do that is black-red is full of removal. If I stick it on the Gingerbrute, they could have a Braid, or they could have a number of different black spells, things like Fatal Push. So yes, we could get in for 5, which is great, but then they're just going to kill it reasonably easily. Whereas if I just play the Darksteel Citadel, stick it on there, it's much less likely they're going to be able to remove it. Sometimes you want to use Ensoul on the Gingerbrute and just get in there against like a mono red deck, but against a more mid-rangey deck, I think it's better just to play the long game and put on the Citadel. So this time we can play the Scooter, the Smuggler's Copter, sorry. Not really going to achieve much if they play a Planeswalker, because then they can just block with it. But at that point, next time we can just Ensoul Artifact or something. So yeah, I think it's probably just fine. Play the Copter here. It was that, I'll just play the Gingerbrute and attack with both Gingerbrutes, but that seems pretty weak. And not very mana efficient, so let's not do that. So I haven't seen too many red-black mid-range decks. Ooh, Goblin, Chainwhirler. Really glad we didn't play the Gingerbrute now. So they can get in for 4 if they want. I'd be surprised if they did, just being... Okay, they are gonna. So we've got the Smuggler's Copter, so we can straight away get in with the Copter. Okay, so what do we want to do this turn? So we could Ensoul on the Gingerbrute, or on the Smuggler's Copter, or on the Darksteel Citadel. So we know we're going to play the Ornithopter, so we'll get that out of the way. Between the lands, it doesn't make a massive difference what we play, so we'll just stick down the Shivan Reef. So Ensoul Artifact on the Darksteel Citadel is probably going to be the best for the long game. So we can attack for 5, but we won't be able to attack with the Scooter. Or we could do, but it would be that or the Darksteel Citadel. Whereas we could play the Gingerbrute, and then Ensoul Artifact the Smuggler's Copter and swing in that way. That gets in for 1 extra damage, but more importantly, it means we are more likely to be hellbent next turn for Hazoret. Because then next turn, well, we'd have both of these out in play. Next turn we've got the land and play Hazoret that way. So it is quicker if we do it that way. So I think that kind of makes me lean more towards doing that. Yeah. it looks, I think it looks weaker when you compare it to the Darksteel Citadel, but meaning that we can attack next turn with Hazoret is kind of like making me think it is worth it. And I think we just want to put this on the Smuggler's Copter. It's got flying, just to get it in there. We might as well loot with the Smuggler's Copter. Stubborn Denial. We're quite happy to just discard that. I want to be able to attack with Hazoret next turn, and this way we guarantee we've got the land drop. I think that was really close there. Like, we could have easily just Ensoul Artifacted on the Darksteel Citadel to go for the long game, but just Hazoret being in our hand, I think it's just worth it just to get everything out. See what our opponent's got now. Unlicensed Disintegration, sure. There's like a number of things they could have had there to kill that. And also, if we did play more black to play the Scrapheap Scrounger, then that is another card we could play, Unlicensed Disintegration, but it is very mana intensive. So they're going to attack us for 4, which is fine. We're not going to block that. Sweet. So now we just get to go Spire into Hazoret, and now we get to go in for a load of damage. But more importantly, it's very hard for them to interact with this damage. So definitely going to attack with the Hazoret. We might as well attack with the Gingerbrute, because then next time we have lethal. I was trying to work out if we need to keep someone back for a blocker, because if they just played like a Chainwhiler, then they can crew and they can attack us for 7 plus 8 from the Smuggler, from the Goblin Chainwhiler trigger. But we do have the Ornithopter, so they'd need to have like a land, shock, and Chainwhiler to win that turn. See what our opponent's up to next. So next turn, even I guess we didn't have to attack with the Gingerbrute actually, just because we could have just untapped, activated Hazoret, getting for the 2 that way as well. I really do think Hazoret is a perfect fit in this deck. I can't believe I didn't even consider it. It wasn't until I saw someone else's list playing it. I've been trying to figure out a deck to play with Hazoret and Ronas in. Maybe you could play Ronas in this deck. I don't think so, but it would be pretty sweet. So our opponent is very much got to be worried about not dying now. We've got the Gingerbrute and Hazoret, so we can do 3 a turn pretty much uncontested against them. So Hazoret is 3 mana, discard a card, deal 2 damage to each opponent, and the Gingerbrute we can just make unblockable unless they have haste, which they're obviously not going to have very much of. And that's going to kill them in only 2 turns. Okay, so they're going to Chainwhiler, which is going to kill the brute. So they can't just swing in with everything because we just killed them on the swing back. Okay, so they're just going to attack for 3 in the air by the look of it. I'm not sure if we want to block this or not. I think so. Because otherwise then we're into lightning strike range. Okay, so now when we attack with Hazoret, that's not very helpful. Wait, it's another card to throw at them, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, so if we attack, they can either block with a Chainwhiler, and then they've got lethal next turn if they have another creature to crew the Heart of Kiran. I think we just have to attack and hope they don't. Because even if they just have another creature, they just play it, crew that, and then they swing with all 3. So we have to have some. We have to just go for it. So yeah, if they have any creature that can crew the Heart of Kieran, then they do just have lethal. So we just got past the turn and hope they don't. Is that another Chainwhirler? Oh, okay. I've seen quite a lot of these popping up in Frontier at the minute. I was even considering playing it in this deck because you just play it as a 1-drop, and then when you Ensoul it, it becomes a 6/6 because it keeps the counter, obviously, and that means it's also Oko proof as well, being protection from multicolored. Yep. So they've got the win. Super close, but fair play to them. So what do we want against their deck? I don't think we really want to change anything. Pithing Needle is fine, but I assume you can name Heart of Kieran's if you really wanted to. But like, what are we going to take out? Stubbornder now? They did have quite a heavy creature-based deck. I have no idea if you can actually name vehicles with Pithing Needle and actually stop them. Let's have a look. Do a bit of Google. I'm pretty sure like activating Heart of Kieran is just an activated ability, right? Yeah, you can. Sweet. So I think we take out Stubbornder now. We put in Pithing Needle, because they're gonna have a lot of creatures by the look of it. I expect they're more of like a Glorybringer, Goblin Chainwhirler, like aggressive red-black deck. And if that's the case, I don't really want Stubbornder Nails in my hand. I want to be like more aggressive. I think that's about it. Like, I don't think we want the Antiquities of War, or the Antiquities War. I'm going to keep calling it the Antiquities of War, but it's not. It's the Antiquities War. And I think we just leave it like that and just try and kill him quickly. Maybe we do want Stubbornder now. That's tough. Maybe we want just one Pithing Needle. We just don't want too many counter spells. I think maybe having 1 or 2 is not the end of the world. We'll try this. We would like to play first again. Ooh, this hand is not great. So you've got 2 Gingerbrutes and a Shrapnel Blast. I think this is going to have to be a mulligan. There's just not enough there to get our opponent dead. And yeah, this hand is fine. We'll keep this. So I think we're going to put the Shrapnel Blast, the Ornithopter at the bottom. I think we'd rather stick Ensoul Artifact on a Darksteel Citadel against our opponent. And if that's the case, the Ornithopter just does nothing. I guess you could argue that Smuggler's Copter is also doing nothing. But if we draw any 1-drop, it's going to be better. So yeah, we're going to get rid of the Ornithopter here. So I'll play the Darksteel and pass. It doesn't really make a difference which one you play. I guess you could play the Shivan Reef in case you had in case you wanted to Stubbornder now or something. We don't have it, but they don't know that. Okay, that's really handy that we drew the Steam Vents, because if we didn't, we would have to make the decision, if we draw a land next turn, we can go land, Ensoul Artifact this and attack with it. Whereas if we didn't draw the land, we might have to Ensoul this turn just to make sure that we get it to attack for next turn. But luckily we drew it, so that's good. Because say we didn't draw that land, it was like another Shrapnel Blast. This turn you play the Smuggler's Copter and hope you draw a 3rd land, because the Ensoul Artifact to attack on the Darksteel means we need a 3rd land to attack with that turn. So it's tough. Okay, so our opponent's got pretty good opening hand. Luckily both of these creatures are more offensive, and with double Shrapnel Blast we should be able to close the game out pretty quickly. Cool, so let's just go Steam Vents, Shock. We'll Ensoul the Darksteel and we'll swing in for 5. The Scrapheap can't block, so we know we're getting in with that. And we've got double Shrapnel Blast. So in theory, if our opponent doesn't block the next swing, we could just kill them. We won't kill them in one turn, just being that we don't have enough mana to attack and to use both. Cool. So they're going to get in for 4, putting us down to 11. And I'll be interested to see if they block with the Chainwhirler or not. So we can play the Gingerbrute and gear up the Smuggler's Copter and attack for 8. I think that's fine. We could keep the Gingerbrute back as a blocker. But I think we'd rather just get in the damage here, or try to. So we might as well loot. I don't think there's anything we could draw that would be good here, or better than 2 Shrapnel Blasts. So yeah, we'll see if they want to block, which they don't. Okay, sweet. So end of their turn, we're just going to Shrapnel Blast them, untap, and Shrapnel Blast them again. So they pretty much have to kill us this turn. And even if they threaten to kill us this turn, we can just Shrapnel Blast the Chainwhirler. Don't want to have to do that, but that is an option if we need to. See what our opponent's got, because we can just Shrapnel Blast like the Gingerbrute and doesn't really do much, or the Smuggler's Copter. As long as we've got our 5/5, we should be fine. I can't think of too much that would get in the way. They're not really going to have any life gain. So 3, 6, 7. So they're attacking us for 7 if they wanted to, which is 4 life left. I find it hard to believe they'd get 4 damage out of that. Like, it'd have to be something like Lightning Strike and Shock or something like that. Opponent really in the tank here. Right, okay, so they are just going to go for it. I think we just take this and go to 4. I honestly can't see how they'd kill us. Like, having Lightning Strike and Shock is very unlikely. I guess Double Shock would do it, or Wild Slash. There's quite a lot of cards that would do it, but I don't think they'd have that many in their deck. Okay, cool. So end of turn, we'll Shrapnel Blast our opponent. Throwing doesn't make too much of a difference, I don't think. We'll throw the Gingerbrute. Oh, we want to crew this. I'm pretty sure they're just making us play it out, 'cause, like, I can't think of anything they could have really. Yeah, okay, they're just going to concede. Sweet. On to the third game. This time we are on, when it loads. Sweet, there we go. This time we are on the draw, which kind of puts me off Stubborn Denial. They're playing a lot of creatures. And I really do not want to be behind and have counter spells stuck in my hand. So we're just going to get rid of those and probably bring in Pithing Needle. It is significantly lower impact, but it's good against Heart of Kieran. It's good to Ensoul Artifact just because it's hard for them to interact with. Nothing else is really ideal here. Yeah, I just don't want to be playing with Stubborn Denial against an opponent that's curving 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, like it just doesn't achieve anything. Yeah, this hand is fine. It's not great, but we've got Smuggler's Copter, we've got our land drops, and we've got a Bomat Courier for early card draw. If we ever get to draw from it. Cool, so let's lead off with the Spirebluff Canal. It is important with the deck to try and play the Darksteel on turn 1 or turn 2 if you can, just because in case you draw an Ensoul Artifact, you want to be able to use it and attack with the Citadel at the same turn. So I do try to get these down as early as possible, really. What is our opponent up to this turn? Okay, cool. So 2 mana 2/2 is fine with us. We have no multicolored spells in the 75, I don't think. So it's just a 2 mana 2/2 with Trample and Reach. I'm pretty sure the only reason this card is seeing play is because of all the 3 mana Planeswalkers. So you've got Teferi, the 3 drop, and you've got Oko, which are kind of just like running rampant at the minute. So I think everyone's just using the Serpent as an answer to them. Cool, so we'll play the Citadel. Let's go ahead and play the Copter, I guess. We might as well play the Ornithopter. And we'll just pass. We are not going to attack into that Serpent. Okay, so they're going to Magma Spray our Bomat, so we're just going to Crew in response. They're going to Braid that. Yes, they are. Wow, okay. Very removal heavy hand for them. We are pretty much left with nothing at this point. However, they are only attacking for 3. I'm more worried about the Bomat Courier drawing the loads of cards than I am the damage it's doing. I should have blocked the the Bomat Courier there. It's not the end of the world, it's only an extra damage. Hopefully that won't come up. Yeah, Shrapnel Blast isn't a bad draw. We'll play the Steam Vents tapped. Play Scrapheap, and we'll just pass. This is pretty much just going to be a race, I think, at this point. Hopefully they don't have removal for this Scrounger. Which they do. It might be worth getting this Ornithopter killed. Okay, they're going to do it for us anyway. Because now we can bring back the Scrapheap with our Spire of Industry. We do really need to keep an eye on our life total though with this Spire. If our opponent doesn't have a land drop here, which they don't, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if they crack their Bomat soon. If they are going to try and kill this at the end of the turn or something, then I probably would Shrapnel Blast this in response. If they tap out at any point, I might have to just kill the Bomat. Which is about now. So this stops the damage because we don't have a target anymore. But more importantly, it stops them from drawing like 4 cards. I just don't think we can afford to have them draw that many. Like we're going to struggle to get back into this game as it is. They do attack us with a 2/2 each turn, but we can get both our Scrapheaps back. One we can do next turn. We need to have another creature die to get the other one back. Another Shrapnel Blast. And we'll just pass. We might as well do it at the end of their turn. so they've drawn their own. And a Bomat Courier. Wow, okay. So we're going to take 3 this turn, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 next turn. So activating the Scrapheap does mean that we die next turn. So I think we're gonna have to kill something. There's not much point in killing the Scrapheap because I have a Bomat Courier. So what are we more worried about? The 2 damage from the is this a snake? This looks like a snake to me. Yeah, it is a snake. So are we more concerned about the 2 damage from the snake, or are we more worried about the card draw from the Bomat? At this point, with only 10 life, it's pretty tough to say. I think we're probably more worried about the 2 power, unfortunately. Oh shit. Okay, well, I just lost the game. The correct thing to do was to float the black first, because now we have no artifact for the Spire of Industry. Easily done. Yeah. Oh dear. Cool. We're not coming back from that, I don't think. To be honest, I'm more tilted than anything. Yeah, that was game over. On to the next one. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better than the last one. Yeah, this hand is fine. Luckily we don't have anything too important here. They're probably going to take the Copter. But we will see. I really like Ghostfire in this deck. It's probably like one of the weaker cards in the deck. But it just means you can like chip in with pretty much anything. Like Ornithopter becomes a little source of damage. Even attacking with a Mutavault, stick this on the Mutavault. I know you have to keep equipping it each turn, but it's very hard for like control decks to interact with like that sometimes. Yeah, so let's go Citadel, Ghostfire, and Ornithopter. We could have just like played the Shivan Reef and kept up Stubborn Denial. But I think for turn 2, like, what are they going to really be doing that we're too worried about? It's normally turn 3 when they play their Planeswalkers or something, or turn 4. Right, okay, so it's very likely that they have some sort of removal spell. I'd like to keep the Bomat Courier alive if possible. So I think it's better just to play the Scrapheap here. See what our opponent's going to do end of turn. Nothing? Okay. One important thing to notice about this deck list is I am not playing any basics. Probably should be playing one, I just couldn't find space and I really wanted to play 4 Mutavault. But Assassin's Trophy is very, very, very good against us because we're not playing any basics. So possibly that is wrong and you should be playing one, I don't know. Okay, so they're playing Sultai, so they could be playing like the Sultai mid-range deck with like a Thoughtseize, Dig Through Time, basically all just the good cards. Courser is fine. And they're going to draw another Courser. Yeah, I think we're just going to shock that. Stick the ghost. So do we want to stick on the Ghostfire Blade on the Scrapheap and attack with that, which they possibly might block, or do we just get in the air for 2? I think we want to put on the Scrapheap. Yeah, this is definitely correct because now we have Stubborn Denial as a hard counter. and it's fairly unlikely they're going to chump anyway. And then we'll just play the Bomat Courier out. Whilst we've got it, I think it's probably fine. Just we don't have unlimited mana. Like, I appreciate our deck is very, very low curve, so normally you don't have to worry about mana. But I just want to make sure that we don't like screw ourselves over by not using our mana each turn. If they have removal, it's going at the Scrap Heap anyway, not the Bomat. So they could play the second Courser and then play the land and gain 2 life. They're going to opt to go with a Tracker instead. So they're going to get a clue and get a life. But we do know they're drawing a forest next turn. Cool, so Mutavault is not a great draw, but it's not the end of the world. I think what we probably want to do is just play the Bomat and attack with all 3. We either get in for 5 and they block both Bomats. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't really want to waste the Bomat Couriers, but at the same time they need to get in for some sort of damage. Like, we could just attack with the Scrap Heap this turn, and then if they double block, the Ghostfire can go on something else. As long as we kill the Courser, then we can start trading with things. But I think we just want to attack with all 3. Yeah, they're just going to eat both. So, do we want the Stubborn Denial, or do we want a mystery card? I think we would rather a mystery card. Let's find out. Well, we don't want that one. Let's try this one. Yikes. Okay. See, at that point you could say, yeah, it was probably better to keep it, but, you know, it could have been a Shrapnel Blast, or like a Smuggler's Copter. There's a lot of things that we could have drawn that would have been better than a Stubborn Denial. See, like, Oko doesn't do too much. Interesting, so they're going to turn our Ghostfire Blade into a creature. So if we draw a Shrapnel Blast here, we should be good. We might as well play this Shivan Reef. Play the Bomat Courier, and I think we just attack with everything, right? So if we attack with all 4, 2 get through, so the minimum damage we can get through is 3. Yeah. I'm not even going to bother trying to kill this Oko. There's just no chance. The fact that it's just going to gain 2 next turn, so we even if we get in for the minimum damage this turn, which is 3, and that's assuming they have no removal, we're going to put it down to 2, and then they're just going to tick it up, and yeah, I just don't think we're going to get anywhere doing that. If the Bomat gets blocked, then we're basically just going to cycle it. Judging by the fact that they used Oko on the Ghostfire, that makes me think they have no removal for the Ornithopter. Wow, they're not going to block the Bomat Courier, which is really good news for us. So next turn they're going to draw Thought Erasure, which is fine. So if they try and use Oko on the Bomat, we're just going to crack it in response, I think. Yeah, because then we just need a Shrapnel Blast. So the food is a little bit annoying. So Smuggler's Copter is just going to die to Abrupt Decay, or I get turned into a food with Oko. So I think we just, because they've got the food, we can't Shrapnel Blast them to kill them. I don't really see any way out of this, unfortunately. Let's just go on to the next one. Let's not waste time with this. This isn't fun. Damn Oko. So let's bring in Pithing Needles. What do we not want? Do we want Stubborn Denial? I think so. It's good against. So it's good against just Oko and their removal, but Abrupt Decay can't counter, and they've got a lot of big 3-drops that we can't counter either, which means I kind of just want to take these out. Maybe one Pithing Needle. So Pithing Needle is, it's just another Ensoul Artifact target, and it just stops Oko preemptively as well. Because if we Ensoul Artifact something and then they Oko it, then it becomes a 3/3. And even if we then Pithing Needle next turn, they've still, you know, made our creature worse. Whereas if I just go like Pithing Needle preemptively, it just means Oko doesn't do anything, which I kind of like. But what do we take out for the 4th Pithing Needle? Maybe we just want 3. I think 3 will be fine. Cool. So we definitely want to go first. Okay, this hand is very aggressive, we'll keep. So we're just going to go turn 1 Springleaf Drum. Or Ensoul. Sorry, Ghostblade or Springleaf? I think we play the Springleaf Drum first, right? And then we'll just pass. And then next turn we swing for 5. Cool. No Thoughtseize from our opponent is nice. And the Ornithopter is really handy actually. So this is one of those hands that's just like ridiculously fast. We've got 2 Ensouls on one mana artifacts, or even 0 mana if we do it on the Ornithopter, and we've got the Shrapnel Blast as well. Sweet. So our opponent's just going to opt. This game is looking very good. I think we just want our Ensoul Artifact on the Ornithopter this turn, just because it's quicker. We will shock and Ensoul here. A Stubborn Denial here would have been fine as well, just to be able to protect it. Yeah, they're just gonna concede. Sweet. On to the 3rd one. That was like basically just showing you what the deck can do. Like, it's so aggressive if you draw the right cards. I think we just go back to what we had, especially on the draw, meaning our opponent can turn 3 Planeswalker is very difficult for us to compete with. Like, so if we want to counter with Stubborn Denial on their 3-drop, that means we need to on turn 2 only use 1 mana, which means we're not doing a lot. So I don't actually think we can afford to keep up Stubborn Denial. I think we just need the 4th Pithing Needle maybe, and take out Springleaf. I just don't see any way how our opponent on the play is going to be able to, how we're going to be able to stop them playing an Oko and actually get enough on the board. Okay, sweet. So this hand is nice and aggressive. We'll keep this. Our opponent leading off with a Goose. So we'll play the Bomat, play the Ornithopter. getting for 1. We're not actually going to get the damaging because I've just blocked with the goose, but we do get the extra card under it. And then next turn we can Ensoul Artifact if we want, or we can play the Scooter or the Scrounger. So our opponent, did they just shock and pass? Yeah, it looks like they did. In that case, I think I just want to swing in and play the Smuggler's Copter. Because I don't want to Ensoul Artifact something and then just kill it in response. In fact, now we've got the Darksteel, I think that's what we're going to Ensoul next turn. So let's go ahead and get the card under Bomat. The other option worth noting is we could have just played the Ghostfire and stuck on Ornithopter. That might have been better actually in the face of Abrupt Decay. Why would they not block here? They're too scared of losing the goose. What would they have that's so powerful as a 4-drop? We are in our opponent's head. I have no idea why they're thinking so much about it. To be fair, there is a 1-mana artifact that I've seen people play, which is, I think it's from the Kaladesh block. It's like a 1-mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, ping something for 1, and then when it dies, you draw a card or something. Which is, I guess, fringe playable in this deck. But no, we just want the card under the Bomat Courier. They're thinking into it too much. But thinking about it, I think the Ghostfire Blade on the Ornithopter might have been the correct play that turn. Because now they Abrupt Decay this, and we haven't really achieved much. Whereas if we had stuck the Ghostfire Blade and put it on the Ornithopter, do they want to Abrupt Decay the Ghostfire Blade? Not really. Or do they want to do it on the Ornithopter? Again, not really. So what's our opponent going to do this turn? Nothing. Sweet. And another lovely Ornithopter. We might as well play it. But more importantly, let's Ensoul on the Citadel. Abrupt Decay can kill the Ensoul Artifact, but it means that they can't kill the Darksteel Citadel and 2-for-1-us. If they have got Abrupt Decay, they want to wait till we attack before they do anything, obviously. Because otherwise we can use the mana elsewhere. See what our opponent's up to. I don't really know what they're thinking of doing. I really like the Citadel as indestructible. I'm not quite sure why they made it indestructible. There might be a lore thing about it, but like the fact that it survives Field of the Ruin as well was really handy. So we're just going to F6. There's nothing we can do really. If they have something, they have something. If they don't, great. So from what I've seen, the Sultai list is basically just like Abrupt Decays, Drown in the Lock. Oh, they do have the Assassin's Trophy, and we are going to fail to find. That's pretty bad for us. Luckily, they're not doing anything at the minute. If they slam like an Oko or a Lily or something, we might be in trouble. But until then, we are just going to swing in. I think we want to get the Ghostfire and start attacking with that, to be honest. Because if we play the Scrapheap, the chances are they're going to kill it and then we've achieved nothing. Whereas at least if we play the Ghostfire, equip it and play the Gingerbrute, we're doing a little bit each turn. I guess we can bring the Scrapheap back. Yeah, let's get the Scrapheap in then. We'll play the Ghostfire. There's no point in playing the Gingerbrute because it has haste anyway. Funnily enough, we are not going to attack with Ornithopter. And they're going to make a food, sure. And just going to play another land and pass. Draw another Ornithopter. So we'll play the Brute. And we'll stick the Ghostfire on an Ornithopter and try and like spread everything out. Might as well make that unblockable, because now if they do want to block, they have to lose their goose, whereas if they it'd just be an easy block for them, whereas this way they have to lose something, lose their goose if they do want to block. Sure, they'll fail push that. We can bring that back, so it's not the end of the world. So do we keep the Ornithopter in hand in case we draw a Smuggler's Copter, or do we play it out? I see not a lot of benefit of playing it out. So I guess we just keep it in our hand. I can't really see any line where playing another Ornithopter is going to pay off, so... And they're just going to keep making food. It's going to take ages for us to kill them at this rate. So we just have to hope they don't draw anything high-end soon. Like if they just draw an Oko, I think we're really going to struggle. What have they drawn? How close are they to dig? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in theory they could just dig for just 2. If they've drawn that. I don't even know what sideboard hate they're bringing against us. They've drawn something. Ooh, Vraska. Do they just kill the Ghostfire Blade here? If they do, they lose Vraska to the Gingerbrute. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Ooh, that's not bad. So we can put Ensoul Artifact on the Gingerbrute. And that way we have an unblockable 5/5. Or we put it on the Ornithopter. And the advantage putting on the Ornithopter is we can attack them with the Ornithopter to get in for 5 and kill the Gingerbrute in the same turn. Which I think is better. Cool, so we get rid of Vraska and we get in for 5. I assume they're not going to block with the goose because they can just make food every turn. And again, still I'm not going to play the Ornithopter yet in case we draw a Copter, because I would rather just throw it away. I'm not sure if 3 or 4 Ornithopters is correct. It's just when you get to be able to go turn 1 Ornithopter, turn 2 Ensoul it, it's just so powerful that it makes me think maybe you just want to play the 4 to try and get that as often as you can. Yeah, so our opponent looks like they're almost dead, but they're not. They've got an extra 9 life. Ooh, that was a pretty good draw for them. Yes, they are going to lose life from it, and it's quite mana intensive, but they are drawing more cards, which is what they need to do. So they deliberately left up Oko mana, not Coco. Oh, there we go. So it was good that we didn't play the Ornithopter. Need to make sure I'm tapping correctly. Make the Gingerbrute unblockable. we'll swing with both of those. So end of turn they'll either make a food or crack a food. Okay, yeah, they're going to gain 3. Take the damage. And we can play the Smuggler's Copter. This does also mean next turn we can play the Scrapheap from the graveyard to crew the Smuggler's Copter, and still get in with the Gingerbrute, which is quite nice. So our opponent's got a lot of stuff to deal with now. I don't think Oko it would be enough, at least just Oko. Whilst they have got a lot of land, their hand is very, their castle Lochthwain, whatever you call that, is very mana intensive, and they've got the food that they want to crack. So whilst they have got a lot of mana, they can't use a lot of it. Cool. So they are, yeah, they're drawing so many cards. They've got like so much life to gain from the goose and the food. They just don't have enough mana to do it all. So Pithing Needle, I can just play it, see if they respond, and if they don't, I can name food, clue, or the Lochthwain, or track. No, you can't name tracker. Or you can, it just doesn't do it a lot. Let's go ahead, bring back the Smuggler's Copter. See if our opponent's going to crack a food or a clue in response. I assume you can name tokens, which you can't. Nope. In that case, we will name. So we can name the Lochthwain, but that is taking up 4 of their mana. The Goose, just to stop them from making food. Vraska or Oko, which I think we can deal with. I genuinely didn't know that you couldn't name tokens. It makes sense. It literally says card name, and a token is not a card. Probably should have known that. No worries. Let's go with... I think life gain is probably the most annoying thing, so maybe we just name the Goose. No, because it's just going to die in soon anyway, isn't it? Because, like, so we attack. What's going to go on? So we attack. We've got 8 in the air, so they can go up to 9. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm going to name Vraska. Which Vraska is it? Golgari Queen. Or do we name Oko? You know what? I'm going to name Oko. That could have gone better if I knew how the cards I play work, but here we are. So yes, we do want to loot, and that is a great draw. So our opponent doesn't have to block either of the creatures here, because they can just sack one of the foods, go up to 9, and then go down to 1, which looks like that's what they're going to do. Yep. So what can they draw this turn that gets them out of it? Dig would be a good start. Heart of Kiran. Cool. They know they need to crack their clue. Yep. Because we can just attack with the Gingerbrute. Nothing has haste in their deck, I assume. Oh no, they have got food, to be fair, so they're not... Oh yeah, well, they would be dead from the Ornithopter and that. Opponent in the tank, trying to figure out if they can stay alive. Cool. I can't imagine anything weird they'd have, so let's just go for it. Oh, we should probably tap the right mana. Yeah, fuck it, we'll throw our land at them. Sweet. And on to the next one. On the play. Sweet. Yes. What have we got here? Yeah, the Sanders is fine. Any hand of Bomat Courier I find really hard to mulligan. Especially if we've got things like Shrapnel Blast and Smuggler's Copter as well. From this opener, it's not 100% clear what we want. We could be on like an aggressive red deck, which just happens to play Mutavault. But I think it's, you know, it narrows it down pretty significantly to us or mono red. Ooh, they're going to be Once Upon a Timing. So their deck is probably not going to be very fair. I tend to find whenever people play Once Upon a Time, the deck's just never fair. Like, the card just seems ridiculous. Rootbound Crag. Okay. So they could be the red-green devotion deck, or they could just be red-green aggro. Oh, Hazoret is a really nice draw. We've got the Springleaf Drum. I think we want to play the Springleaf Drum this turn. We don't get a card with Bomat, but we do get a card out of our hand. So we can go land, Steel Leaf Drum, tap the drum and the Bomat, play Smuggler's Copter. Next turn play the Scrounger, and whatever we draw, hopefully. Yeah, I think we do want to do that. See what our opponent's up to. Another mana dork. I kind of feel like we should be playing something like a Magma Spray in the board or something, or Wild Slash, or one of those kind of 1 mana burn spells. But I just feel like it doesn't fit in with the deck. Like, if I'm killing their 1 mana dork instead of, say, something like an Artifact or a Shrapnel Blast, then it just really slows us down. Okay, sweet. So we've got the Darksteel Citadel. So this turn we play the Scrapheap. And we can we'll crew with the Scrapheap Scrounger, and we'll attack with both. We might as well loot with the Copter. I don't think there's ever a time when you don't loot. Again, I don't think there's anything at all that we could ever draw that's better than either of these two cards anyway. Yeah, there's just no way. The only annoying thing would be is if we draw something that we can't play. So a land would be fine. In fact, I actually think it might have been correct to bin a Shrapnel Blast, thinking about it. If we draw a land, then that's perfect. But if we draw something that we can't play, it's going to be very annoying, because then we can't attack with the Hazoret. Right, okay, so we know what they're playing. If you haven't seen this deck before, basically it ramps up into the big old boar, and then use that to put in World Spine Worm and Attackers and just stupidly big creatures. It's kind of like the show and tell deck of this format. Right, okay. So we can attack for 3 in the air. If we crew with that, that's 3. We can attack with that. Because they're effectively on 7 if we Shrapnel Blast. So we're basically two mana down. I just can't see a way we can kill them this turn. Because I'm pretty sure they're just going to block. The other alternative is just to Shrapnel Blast and kill the boar. So if we use that to boot up the Mutavault, we can attack. No. The alternative is we look for something with the Smuggler's Copter, because if we just draw another Shrapnel Blast, we can kill them obviously with just the Copter. So maybe we just swing with the Copter. I'm just not sure how likely we are to die next turn. So if they attack for 6 and put a World Spine Worm attacking as well, that's 15 to 21. So we would need something to block. This is a really tough turn. So I'm pretty sure the only way we can win this turn is by crewing the Smuggler's Copter with the Bomat, swinging for 3, putting them down to 9, looting, finding another Shrapnel Blast, and we'll have exactly 4 mana with the Scrap Heap. Obviously, that is not the only reason I'm doing that. I just don't see another way we can do much this turn. I don't see any reason to Ensoul Artifact and attack, because it's just 5 power that's not going to get through. Whereas at least if we put it on the Citadel, we can use that 5 toughness to block with. In that case, should we have just crewed with the Scrap Heap instead? And then we'd have the Bomat Courier as an extra toughness to block? Probably not. So what's more important now? The Scrap Heap being untapped? No, because it doesn't do anything. So we might as well save the life then. So I'm going to do this just so we have effectively 24 health. So the reason I put it on the Citadel in particular is because if they put in Attacker with the boar, the Attacker, well, it depends on which Attacker, they can play both, but one of them does 8 damage divided amongst creatures and planeswalkers, and that way we still have a 5/5 in play. Well, now we get to find out what happens. Oh, it's Copter. Okay. They both have trample, so it doesn't really matter what we block. Okay, so they've got 3 blockers, possibly a removal spell. So I don't think the Darksteel Citadel is ever going to get in for damage because they've got the Elvish Mystics. I think we want a Shrapnel Blast end of turn. How much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we Shrapnel Blast the Scrapheap, our opponent, because we really want to be hellbent for the Hazoret. I mean, it would be ideal if we just drew a land, and then we can use the Springleaf Drum, so we can throw the Springleaf Drum. But if we don't, then we don't have enough mana to play the Hazoret. Maybe we throw the Bomat then? No, we'll throw the Scrapheap. Ghostfire Blade, does that just does it with the Looter Scooter? Yeah. If they remove this Copter in response, that's pretty bad news. But let's find out. No. So what we actually want to do is crew with that. So the only thing they can have here is a Braid, which they could have. No, sweet. That was really close. So they do play a 6 mana spell, which is reveal the top 5 or 6 cards from your, maybe 7 top cards of your library, put a creature into play. Ferocious, put 2 creatures into play, which is really good to Stubborn Denial, but that is about it. Other than that, Rending Volley, no. Leyline in the Void does nothing. And Pithing Needle, they don't really play that many creatures. So I don't think we board at all. So this hand, on the draw, if we draw any creatures, we could kill our opponent really quickly. Like maybe even as soon as like turn 4 or 5, which is pretty quick. But it doesn't do a lot if we don't. I think we have to mulligan that hand. Yeah, we'll keep this. This is better, I think. I think we want to put Shivan Reef to the bottom. So what are we actually doing with this hand? Turn 1, Ghostfire Blade, Ornithopter. Turn 2, Scrapheap. Yeah, let's get rid of one of the lands. I think we want to keep the Shrapnel Blast, just try and be as quick as possible still. We definitely are under a clock against our opponent. But yeah, this is like the kind of deck where I would like Shocks or Wild Slashes or something like that. It's just hard in a deck like this to find space. Cool. So play the Mutavault, play the Ornithopter. And no 1 mana dork is crazy from our opponent. They must have a really good hand to not mulligan a hand with no mana dorks. To keep a 7 card hand in a green deck with 8 mana dorks in, that'll be why, because they have the Generator 7 instead. So Generator 7 is add 2 mana to your mana pool, and you have to sack it, but it does give the creature haste. So next turn they'd go 3, 4, 5. which is the boar. So do I want to Shrapnel Blast that? I really don't want to, but if we kill that though, they're going to be very, very, very slow out the gates. Because they don't have a 1 mana dork, and they don't play 3 mana dorks. Does that change anything now that we have Ensoul Artifact? So we attack for 5. We're very close to being able to kill our opponent. How easy is it for our opponent to kill us next turn? So if they do play a land into the ball, which is a 5-drop, I believe, they do have enough mana for it. Then they put World Spineworm into play and swing with both, and we die. But we do have the Ornithopter. But if we're going to Ensoul this turn, we won't. I really want to just Shrapnel Blast the Servant, which seems ridiculous. But now that we've got the Ensoul Artifact, I think we're going to be able to kill them quick enough. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. I don't think we can afford to risk it. Like, our hand is really quick at killing our opponent anyway. Fuck it, we'll try it. And it's pretty hard to decide which one to throw away there, but I think we want to throw the Ghostfire Blade, because we've got the Ensoul Artifact for the Ornithopter, which is like really nice. Like, our opponent might just have nothing now. White? Maybe they do play 3 mana talks. What? Add 2 mana of any color combination. Spend this only to cast creatures, and 11 mana each player's life total becomes equal to how many creatures they control, but you can only do it if you have Formidable. Cool. Yeah, so our opponent is just like significantly slowed down now. Obviously, we are now a turn behind as well, because we not only did we use our mana to Shrapnel Blast, but we also missed out on attack with Ensoul Artifact because of that. So we are quite far behind as well, but hopefully we can still get in quick enough. I really can't believe they're playing this card. I find it hard to believe that's worth playing in their deck. Double mana Confluence is good for us though, because that means that we just gain an extra turn. Rhythm of the Wild, sure. Okay, so now if they have the sure. So this effectively doesn't cost any mana if they just give it haste. Yeah. They're not going to do anything with it yet though. Cool, so we'll play the Spire. So we can definitely still die next turn, which is ridiculous to think. Hopefully that won't happen. But yes, we can absolutely die next turn if our opponent just goes the boar into a World Spineworm. Gulter, would Gulter do it? 6, 7, 30. Yeah, Gulter would kill us as well. If we didn't attack with the Mutavault, would Gulter have done it then? So gold is 12, up to 13 with rhythm, 19 with the boar, then 20 up to rhythm. Oh wow, okay, they just didn't have anything. Sweet. Well, that's the kind of deck where I'm just like bricking it the whole time. Anyway, on to the next one, I guess. Yeah, this hand is cool, we'll keep. We are on the draw, and we do have an Animator, which is pretty nice. So Animator, I tend to be more lenient on what I use it on, more so than Ensoul. So Ensoul Artifact, if you stick on a Citadel, it's pretty hard for an opponent to interact with. However, because Skilled Animator is just a 1/3, they can just kill that instead. So with this, I normally try to use it as like an easy way to get 5 damage in. So we'll play the Citadel, play the Ornithopter. We'll play the Gingerbrute. I'm quite happy just to swing in with the Gingerbrute and offer the trade if they want to, because next turn we can play Copter, and the turn after that we can play Animator. And if we play the Copter turn 2 and turn 3 we play the Animator, we attack for 8 on turn 3 in the air. There's no way that I want to sacrifice my Ornithopter. So mono white weenie. It just so happens that all the white creatures in Pioneer happen to be humans, more so than in other formats. So like generally they are mono white weenie, but they just happen to be humans. Whereas in Modern, it's more of like a humans deck. So they've got a Copter as well. Cool, so let's just go Animator on the Ornithopter. And we'll attack in. I don't want to attack with the Smuggler's Copter as well. We're quite happy here just to be the aggressor and keep back the Copter for next turn, because then we can turn that into a 5/5 as well. I don't want to just trade Copter for Copter when we could have made ours a 5/5. Well, that's kind of annoying. I should have crewed in response to that, but here we are. Now that they've gotten rid of our other Animator, I do want to do the block. We'll both get to loot, which is nice. Yeah, the Ornithopter does nothing here. I guess neither does the Steam Vents. Yeah, we'll get rid of the Steam Vents then. So let's go blue, colourless, colourless, and again we'll do this on the Ornithopter. So we can either play the Ghostfire Blade or we can get in with the Gingerbrute. So if we get in for 5, 6. Sorry, apparently I'm tired. If we get in for 6, we'll put them to 8, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 next turn with the Ghostfire is lethal. So that is what we're gonna do. I'm not saying that they won't have any disruption, but if they don't, we're looking pretty good. However, if they do play another warrior, they do get to gain a life. Jesus Christ. They got me. They did. And they got another Copter. Okay, so how are we gonna kill them this turn? I don't think we are. Play the Ghostfire Blade and put it on the Brute. Cool. So onto sideboarding. I don't know if we want Rending Volley or not. It's probably better than Stubborn Denial. And do we want Pithing Needle for the Copter? Luckily their deck is quite low on removal. So the whole Ensoul on turn 2 it's quite safe. So they've got Declaration of Stone and maybe some sort of Oblivion Ring style effect. I think Hazoret is probably just going to get stuck up on the ground too easily. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, sand is fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. We've got the Copter, we've got a bit of removal. Apparently I'm really tired today. So excuse me. Gingerbrute. Yeah, let's not offer the trade. I don't think they would take it anyway. But the reason I don't want to is, first of all, because we want to be able to activate the Copter as easily as possible, and also Gingerbrute with Ghostfire Blades, it's just really easy to get in damage because you just make it unblockable, and the white deck's not going to have anything with haste. So next turn we can play a Ghostfire and equip it to the Copter if we want, and swing in with the Copter. Okay, maybe not. Fragmentize is really nice for them actually. It's really good against us. So we've got Rending Volley, they've got Fragmentize. That seems fair. So let's go play Ghostfire. We'll stick it on the Ornithopter and play a Gingerbrute. We'll just chip in for 2 in the air. Because of these Ghostfires, it's going to make us quite easy for us to just chip in damage with pretty much anything we draw. We've got the Mutavaults as well. That's pretty annoying, but our Ornithopter does just wall it. Or alternatively, we can attack. I don't think we want to keep letting our opponent loot. So like the options are, we either attack without Ornithopter and then they start punching us back with their Smuggler's Copter, or we just leave it back as a blocker and they can't really do anything about it. Which I think I prefer. Obviously they could have a Fragmentize, but we'll see if they have when it comes to it. I think we're just happy just to chip in with the Gingerbrute each turn. There's no point in playing the Courier, I'd rather just get in the extra damage. Ooh, that's pretty good. So they might just decide to go on the aggression now. No? Okay. Cool. So we can kill the Lord if we need to. But I'm not sure if they're actually even going to try doing that. I think we're better off just making the Gingerbrute unblockable again and chipping in for 3. If our opponent does decide to try and race us, we can just eat, you know, like block one of their creatures and then next turn Rending Volley the Lord. That's going to be pretty hard for them to catch up after that. After losing 2 creatures, they'd only have effectively 2 left. That's pretty good. So when it's battlefield, choose a creature type, and creatures of that chosen type get +1/+1, and then you can tap 3 and reveal the top 3, or sorry, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal a creature of one of those types, and it goes into your hand. So now we've drawn our own Copter. Do we want to start just swinging back at them? We do need to start closing the game out. Yeah, so we can still make the Gingerbrute unblockable, swing with both of our equipped creatures, and then play the Copter after. That doesn't sound awful. Alternatively, we can attack with the Gingerbrute without activating it, see if they block with one of like their Thraben Inspector, then we can kill the Marshal in response, so then we kill the Marshal and the Inspector. They'd have to be pretty gutsy to do that though. Right, that is 7 damage, right? So we could just do the same thing again next turn. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So if we move one over now, we've got Rending Volley if we need it. And then next turn we just move the last one over and swing in. Yeah, we're going to try that. It's very unlikely they draw a removal spell, and I think that's fine to do. So we kill the Marshal, we can block, say, the Pantheon, and take, like, for fuck's sake. Alright, so that plan goes completely out the window. It costs 2 to sack it, so we can't do that either. We do get 2 tokens, which is absolutely nothing, because we're not going to get enough mana to do anything. Cool. 4, 8, 12. That means we just have lethal on the swing back. Yeah. So we just go equip, play Bomat, and just end of their turn rending volley the other Inspector. Cool. So we take this, and then we untap. Oh, that makes it even easier. And that is Xaxes. So they can activate, or they can, yeah, sweet. That one was a lot more dramatic towards the end than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, on to the last one. For the last round, we get to be on the play again, which is really nice. This hand is fine. Nothing crazy, but it will do. A bunch of Mutavaults if we don't draw much else. So we're going to go turn 1 Gingerbrute, turn 2 probably just Ghostfire and equip it. and then turn 3 Skilled Animator on probably the Gingerbrute. All in on the Gingerbrutes this game. We will lead off with the Mutavault just in case we want to start attacking with that at some point. And then, yeah, next turn we'll probably play the Citadel. Oh, we're against mono-white again. I guess we could be against green-white, but I'm not really convinced that green-white would play an Inspector unless it's like a very low to the ground deck. Yeah, this is actually a much more aggressive hand than I thought, because we're attacking for 3 this turn, and then next time we play the Animator, makes the Gingerbrute 5/5, and then the Ghostfire goes on top of that, putting up to a 7/7. Oh, so they are playing like a Bant Coco deck then, judging by the 3rd colour. So Reflect the Mage would be pretty annoying, which makes me kind of want to put it on the Ghostfire Blade. No, I think it's still fine just to put on the Gingerbrute. I don't want to play around just Reflect the Mage. Like, they'd have to have an untapped land as well. If they do just chump here with the Thraben Inspector, that's going to make me really think they do have the Reflect the Mage though. Oh, they're going to chump with that instead, okay. But we do have the Stubborn Denial for Coco, because I assume they're going to just slam Coco on turn 4. If they do have it. Yeah, they've got the Reflector Mage. Oh, Mantis Rider. That's fine with me. It can block the Gingerbrute if we activate its ability, so that is worth remembering. Okay, does that change anything? Yeah, I guess we just Ensoul on the Citadel. And tackle both, and now we've got Stubborn Denial if they do want to try and play Collected Company. It looks like they're going to try. Yeah. Sweet, that was pretty clean. And that would just be game. No, it won't, because Gingerbrute is can be blocked by the Mantis Rider. Yeah, I don't think that was the way they were going to catch up anyway. So against their deck, we can bring in Rending Volley if we want, or we can Stubborn Denial for Coco. Rending Volley seems pretty weak, like removing their 1-drops and stuff, and I don't really want to be killing Reflector Mages or Mantis Riders. I'd rather just be like playing our own stuff. Coco is really bad for us, Collector Company, but it is also 4 mana. What do we not want? I think Hazoret is pretty bad in this matchup, so I don't mind bringing in one for that. If we are taking out Hazoret, I don't mind taking out a Springleaf Drum as well, because it just lowers the curve a little bit. Yeah, I don't want too many Rending Volleys, because if I just start drawing 2 or 3 and we're one for wanting them, then it just takes them 1 Coco to resolve and they're just like miles ahead. Because 4 mana to get 2 3/3s, sorry, 2 3-drops is just crazy against us. Not because of the power on the board or anything, it's just that between the power and the mana efficiency and getting 2 cards, we need to be really low. I think we just do that. We could bring in the 4 Stubborn Denial to really stop Coco. But they play like what, 30 creatures, 28 creatures, because they're playing Collector Company. So can we afford to have 4 Stubborn Denial? Probably not. Scrapheap is not very good against them. So let's take those out, bring in 2 more Rending Volleys. Scrapheap is just going to get completely brickwalled, so there's not much point. Yeah, we'll try that. I don't think we want the 4th Stubborn now. I think it's too much of a liability for us to just draw counter spells against a creature deck. It's really hard because Collector Company is such a powerful card, but it's like one of the very few cards in the deck which is actually non-creature. This hand is pretty weak. I think we're just going to mulligan this. We've got a 1-drop into Ghostfire Blade or a 1-drop into Rending Volley. Well, I guess into both, but yeah, we're just going to mulligan that. Yeah, this hand is better already. So what are we going to get rid of? We've got 3 land, so let's ditch. Do we just get rid of the Springleaf Drum? So we've got turn 1 Gingerbrute, turn 2 Smuggler's Copter, turn 3 play and equip Ghostfire Blade. Yeah, the Springleaf Drum isn't doing much, but I guess it's no difference getting rid of one of these lands. Get rid of the Citadel. Should we have just got rid of the Springleaf Drum instead of the land? I'm not sure. Unclaimed Territory is a really good land for that deck to have actually, and this one is legitimate humans. Instead of the other deck which was like mono white that just happened to have loads of humans in, this is like a legitimate humans deck. Like playing not just mono white humans, it's, you know, when you start playing things like Unclaimed Territory to name human, that's like a proper humans deck, not just I play lots of 1 mana 2 power creatures and they all just happen to be humans because they're all in white. If you're playing modern, maybe you play like a couple of other ones, but we've got to take the Copter here, right? I can't imagine they'd take anything else. Wow, they're going to take the Ghostfire Blade. So do they have a Mantis Rider maybe? That's a pretty good draw if they do. We're not attacking with the Gingerbrute, so we might as well just play the Springleaf Drum this turn. So I'm not going to bother playing the Steam Vents next turn. I'd rather just loot it away if we need to. Another Unclaimed Territory. So this has got to be like one of their best opening hands for lands. For the second one they've chosen Knight. Interesting. And that will be why. So they're going to name, sorry, they're going to blow up the Copter here, I'm pretty sure. Yep. This is going pretty well for them. Yeah, that's not good. Now that we have lost the Thopter, sorry, not Thopter, the Smuggler's Copter, it does make me think I want to play the Steam Vents, so we can be activating the Mutavault each turn and playing spells. Normally I like to keep like a 3rd or 4th land in my hand, but in this case I think we do need to do it for Mutavault. Mantis Rider. Yeah, we're gonna have to Rending Volley that. So we'll use the Ornithopter. Oh, okay, we won't. I was gonna say we'll use the Ornithopter to block the freebooter. Or would we rather trade the Mutavault this turn for their Knight? I don't think so. There's nothing they can do with an unclaimed territory. So we'll take the 2. A Shivan Reef was not what we wanted. So let's go boot up the Mutavault. We might as well just play it and make the Gingerbrute unblockable. Maybe it was wrong to play that in case we draw another Thopter. If we can somehow get rid of this freebooter so we can get back our equipment, that'd be quite nice. I don't think there's any way we're going to kill it though. Experiment 1. Okay. Raven Inspector, which is going to evolve it. Oh, that is perfect. So we can put it on the Ornithopter or we can put it on the Gingerbrute. I think we're better off just putting on the Gingerbrute. They have to draw a removal spell pretty quick now. Yeah, so they're going to crack the clue. They're up to 3 cards now. Their mana base is crazy. It's just like every fast land in the format plus 4 unclaimed territories. Mantis Rider, it's not a bad start for them. Gets them quite a lot of damage, because the other option is them try and kill us quicker. But we do have the Mutavault to block with as well. Yeah, I think we just take this 6, right? Ghostfire Blade is fine. Cool. So they're obviously going to attack with everything because, I mean, they're pretty much dead anyway. We can use that. Block there. That would block something like the Scoos. Take and use the Mutavault as well. Yeah, we should be fine. We didn't really have a choice what we do. If we just hold back, just ask them for trouble. I think that's game. Yeah, sweet. So we finished like what, 4-1? Yeah, cool. Whilst you guys are here, you might as well see what we get in the chests. Probably not worth opening them, but I have nothing else to do with them all. And what do we get? 85 play points. Eidolon on the Great Revel. Sweet. There you are. Cheers for watching, and if you want to see some more Pioneer, we'll play some more random shit in the not too distant future. Thanks for watching. Peace.